Hey everybody, and welcome to Steelbook Obsessed. My name is Jake, and I like to stay up to date with everything that's going on with physical media news. I read the Media Play news, I read the Digital Bits. There's a lot of different websites that I like to just kind of read and look over what's going on. And today, or I guess when you're seeing this yesterday, the Digital Bits broke a big news story, at least one that they've been kind of following themselves, getting their own sources. The merger that happened between Skydance and Paramount, or that's going to happen in September of 2025. Well, Paramount is kind of bracing for impact here. They are trying to trim a lot of the fat, like a lot of these companies do when they're getting merged together. We kind of saw the same thing happen with Fox, Disney, Sony is now making their physical media discs, at least on like that side of things. Now we have news that Paramount is not really talking with a lot of other people within their own organization on how they're going to go about releasing physical media. There is a news bit on here, and there's kind of quotes that I want to read. I have my laptop kind of propped up here, so I'm kind of going to be doing this off the cuff, but I want to make sure that I'm reading the quotes exactly the way that they are laid out here. There's a lot of different bubbles within Paramount that have been getting cut, and just like getting cut a little bit, like again, trimming the fat, trimming off like just enough people within the organization to still run a department, but not have as many heads as what they used to. Departments like accounting, legal, marketing, production, post-production, finance, mastering, vault, and library service, and including Paramount Home Entertainment, which is not something I really wanted to hear. It kind of makes sense. There's a part of this story to me that makes no sense at all whatsoever. We'll get a little bit more into it, but of course they're cutting down on things. This might mean that 4Ks for movies might get pushed back a little bit, which is unfortunate. We have the Paramount Scares Volume 2 box set coming out later this year. We have the just announced Addams Family Values, which I'm really hoping we still get before Thanksgiving, because I would love to see that movie in 4K right before the holidays. I love watching that movie before Thanksgiving. But yeah, everything is just up in the air. From what the Digital Bits has been told, there are a lot of different companies that are reaching out to Paramount and they're not hearing anything back. The main thing that kind of put red flags up for me is that this also includes releases from boutique labels. Quote, word first began to reach the Bits early last week that indie home entertainment distributors working regularly with Paramount, among them Imprint, Kino Lorber Studio Classics, Vinegar Syndrome, and Shout Studios, were suddenly facing a complete freeze on new licensing activity. This is the one thing that just baffles my mind a little bit. I have always thought that this is more or less free money for the studios. They don't have to worry about the manufacturing side of anything. They are just licensing out their catalog of movies that they have to get releases elsewhere. They're literally just getting a paycheck handed to them for use of the movie. I don't understand the reasoning. I feel like this is one of the easiest ways to make money. Sure, it's not going to make you a ton of money, but it's still making more profit than what there was before. And for a company that's trying to be as profitable as possible before the merger absolutely sets in, I'm just a little baffled. Vinegar Syndrome has had a lot of releases through Paramount the past couple of years. They've had the big, beautiful box set of Daryl, Existenz that just recently came out last year, Little Darlings, that great cinematograph release that they had. Again, movies that really are just sitting there, sitting in a vault, that aren't getting love. These boutique labels are wanting to kind of shine a spotlight on. I don't understand why that's a negative thing in the least bit. Kino Lorber, I just recently got the 4K of Prime Cut to review from them. That movie was a delight, and I would have never watched it unless I had it in my physical media collection. Other movies, they released a 4K of Tropic Thunder, they released the 4K of Cujo, the 4K of The Monster Squad. Again, just movies that might be on Paramount Plus. I don't even know if some of these are on Paramount Plus. They're literally just movies that aren't doing anything for you. So if you have a catalog of movies, why not make the most out of that opportunity, I guess. Another thing that kind of struck me was the Paramount Presents line. What's going to happen with this? I feel like we're not going to get as many titles, if any, announced in the foreseeable future. There's also another quote that I wanted to talk about from the Digital Bits. Quote, "The disruption in home entertainment at Paramount is reportedly so severe that once titles already announced or in the production pipeline to arrive in stores, there may be a months-long drought of Paramount Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K Ultra HD disc product, not just from the studio itself, but also in terms of deep catalog Paramount titles from all their indie label licensees. And getting disc production at the studio back up to speed going forward is probably going to require a heavy reliance on outside vendors." That makes sense. Again, that's why it doesn't make sense to kind of cut off the boutique labels, because they're doing all the legwork for you. What makes me nervous is that Paramount might pull a Disney and just stop making discs themselves. And if they don't team up with another distribution organization, what's going to happen with physical media releases with Paramount? I'm assuming that they might sign a deal with an SDS. They might sign a deal with Disney and Sony to kind of go that route. There's just uncertainty, and I'm not big into uncertainty when it comes to my physical media releases at all. I have enjoyed a lot of the releases that have came out from them recently, and I want to keep that positive train going. Physical media cannot handle a lot of these hiccups because we're already on shaky ground as is. If studios are going to start pulling the plug on what gets released and what doesn't, that's just not good for the industry as a whole. We already had the COVID hiccup that kind of gave a little spike in physical media. Keep the train going. We got a huge increase in boutique labels and like people actually like keeping a spotlight on their releases every month. I just don't know why you'd want to rock the boat with something like that. It baffles my mind. As soon as I read this story, I knew I wanted to spread the word on it as much as possible, because honestly, it just is upsetting. I don't like it. I'm nervous, and I don't like being nervous when it comes to a hobby that I absolutely love to both collect and talk about. There's a community on here that I like to talk about, and if like one of the major studios is no longer producing content that I can talk about, that's just one less avenue. Like, no more TMNT doesn't have a 4K release yet, like any of the old original trilogy. Friday the 13th, we've gotten one in, I think just one, the first one on 4K. Does that mean there's going to be a halt on that franchise going forward, getting 4K releases? I don't know. I'm nervous, and I don't know if you can see that in my body language or not, but I just don't like where this is going. I will link this article in the in the description below, just so you can read it for yourself and see if I am really overanalyzing this, or if I really do have a reason to be a little bit nervous. Again, I wasn't that nervous about the Disney Sony move, because that just made sense. If Disney did not want to worry about the hassle of producing these discs, sign with somebody who already does it, double down on them. Sony makes great products anyway, just keep on going. But if Paramount isn't even talking with boutique labels to do the legwork for them, that's where I get a little nervous. And maybe they can't say anything until they have a game plan lined up. I just don't know. And I kind of wish I didn't hear this news so I wouldn't have to worry as much as I am. I think in the long run, I mean, the merger needed to happen for Paramount to survive, period. And I would rather have Paramount side with Skydance as opposed to Sony, where they would sell them off for just individual pieces to individual corporations. Paramount is such a great organization. When I went to LA, 2017 now, the main studio that I wanted to go and do a studio tour of was Paramount. I enjoy that company so much. It has so many IPs that I absolutely love. Their studio has so much history that just to see all of those IPs, all of those movies that I don't even know of yet, not even get a chance to shine a light on their back catalog, on their newer IPs. We've learned from multiple sources now that the 15% US workforce cuts at Paramount Global, a restructuring that's happening in advance of the company's merger with Skydance Media to reduce annual costs by some $500 million, have landed very heavily at the Melrose lot. As reported widely last week, the layoffs amount to about 2,000 people, with most expected to be gone by the end of next month and the rest of N's year. Jesus. As reposted wildly last week, the layoffs amount to about 2,000 people, with most expected to be gone by the end of next month and the rest by year's end. And this deal got signed July 7th. And it's 6 weeks later, and they are finally deciding to go forward with all of these cuts. Again, the writing was on the wall. You knew cuts were going to happen. It's just the unknown of what's going to happen afterwards. I could only imagine working at Paramount right now. You're just on pins and needles. I've been through the layoff process before at one of my previous employers. It's not fun at all. You might know that you have X amount of months until you're out of a job. No one wants to be in that predicament, and it sucks that it's happening to everyone at Paramount. My deepest wishes and just love and positivity go your way. You will find something else in Hollywood. This is just a blip on the radar, but man, it is a very, very big blip at the moment. And the sad part of it is that I don't even think we're close to being done. The Paramount thing might be the next domino to kind of fall within the entertainment industry, but Warner Brothers isn't looking that hot either. You can kind of tell that the big head honcho over at Warner Brothers, Zaslav, he is trimming as much fat as possible, trying to get them out of the red as much as he can. He's like that Price is Right yodeler, just trying to climb his way out of the net negative losses that they're having. And this is just the new landscape of Hollywood, unfortunately. COVID did not help matters. The strikes did not help matters. That was just a 1-2 punch within a 3-year span that just really put movie studios in a really bad place. And unfortunately, this is what has to happen because of that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on this, because I am honestly nervous about this. Skydance cuts 15% of their entire Paramount division. I have inside sources that have already stated that a lot of the home release industry within Paramount got cut. And that's a terrible thing to see. But just knowing that there's not a game plan laid out, or if there is, it's not known publicly, just makes me nervous. So let me know if I have a reason to be nervous in the comments. Thanks for watching, everybody, and until next time, I'll see ya. So, this was a little bit of a bummer, huh? This is a bummer video. I don't like doing, first the Aliens diss video, the Alien Romulus diss video, and now this one. Let's do a little bit positive. If you get this far, you've reached the after credit scene. Good for you. Good for you. In the comments, please type and let me know what your favorite Paramount movie is of all time. It can either be like a franchise of films that holds a soft spot in your heart, or just a one-off movie. Daryl's a fun one. Little Darlings is one that got a release from Vinegar Syndrome that I have wanted to get for the longest time, because I watched the trailer on it. It looks really, really good. The whole Star Trek franchise, they just got a whole bunch of 4Ks. What's going to happen with that franchise? There's just so much uncertainty, and I want to have a little bit of positivity, at least in the comments of this video. So yeah, let me know what your favorite Paramount movie or IP is. And thanks for getting this far. Hopefully better news coming soon. Come on, please be good. Please be good. Bye.